Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 76. I'm a massive movie fan, and before this room that I'm filming this in was decorated and made kind of plain, every wall was covered in DVDs, and I bought I think it's 6 terabyte hard drives, enormous things to get this several thousand discs onto the computer so I could watch movies. And as a result, I've watched loads and loads and loads and hardly watched any TV. But I'm, like I say, a massive movie addict. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to say this after interviewing Thomas Sheridan, but I've had a movie recommendation from Thomas Sheridan, which was The Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. And it's a B movie, but it's a very, very good movie about a psychopath. And I don't want to rephrase what Thomas Sheridan summed up in his recommendation, but it's an excellent portrayal of a psychopath and their manipulation. So the basic plot of the movie, a Nightcrawler is a cameraman, and the cameraman manages to weasel his way into the TV studio, if you like, so that he has control within that sphere, that arena, and he does it by manipulating people within it and people around him. Without going into too much detail, he's a nasty piece of work, and the movie highlights the cold nature of the psychopath in beautiful detail. To summarise some of the other movies that Thomas Sheridan went through on our recent interview, as a good portrayal, not an excellent portrayal in my opinion, but a very good portrayal of a female psychopath is in To Die For. And I recently found out that the main star of that film, Nicole Kidman, actually consulted with Robert Hare, who's again, like Thomas Sheridan, is an expert in psychopaths. So it was amazing to hear that information for the first time. But yeah, I've had a bit of a dig into that, and it's again fascinating to see these sorts of interactions that Hollywood gets when they're portraying psychopaths. I don't know the background of Nightcrawler, but yeah, as Thomas Sheridan says, they've definitely done their homework. And homework is kind of, again, the feel for the motivation that drives him to get where he wants to be. He researches the people that he's going to manipulate. He researches the topic that he's involved in, filming and photography and cinematography, and manipulates even the surroundings and the very events that he's filming. It's sick on another level, but chillingly accurate. So yeah, one of the things that I liked in the movie was, because it's a nighttime, 60-70% of the film is at night, you get these great sunrise scenes, and the flat earther in me immediately has thoughts run through my mind that have run through my mind for years and years and years. I'm sure I've said in many other videos that my parents used to live on a farm in Wales, and you had a particularly good view from the top of the hill that they were on, and they had a little guest house there, and people even flew little drones and took footage, aerial footage. It's just a good little spot. One of the things I always remember was the sun coming up, and this was true all over the world. I'm a bit of a insomniac, so I often get up and will watch the sunrise. It used to be maybe 3 or 4 months ago that Globebusters was on at such a time that it always finished at like 6 a.m. and I'd go out and just watch the sunrise. But nonetheless, the thing that I always observe is that, unlike what we're portrayed on the video footage from NASA, which has a Terminator line, the light encroaches on the land in such a way as it cannot be anything other than a localized light. It must be close to us, simply based on the way it approaches. If there was a Terminator line and it was 93 million miles away, the light would be immediately shed upon us as soon as we breach that Terminator line as the globe spins. But in reality, on the flat plane, with the sun travelling above us, it approaches exactly as it looks. It approaches from afar and gets closer and closer, and because it's localised, it gives us a greater light the closer it is. So these early morning scenes that you can probably see behind me is a really good example of that. We've got all of the foreground in almost total darkness, to the point where the stuff on this side is actually in complete darkness. But in the distance, whatever is on this line is being lit by the sun, which in and of itself is impossible if we live on a globe. You can't have a slowly encroaching light getting ever and ever brighter. Now, I've not got a dusk video to put on from Nightcrawler to have as the backdrop, but the same thing applies at night. We get, certainly in some parts of the world, very, very long dusks. The sun will disappear at a very slow rate, which is weird, but you just never give it any consideration. Anyway, that's my feelings on Nightcrawler, the Flat Earth Psychopath movie. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you in the next video.